DreamLeague Season 12, and we are on our way with day one here in the group stages of this Dota 2 tournament. We are gonna watch another series of Team Liquid, who was not able to take a win in their first series, but hey, new rounds, new chances, and this time their opponent will be the Demon Slayers. It's quite an interesting series, actually, because on one hand, we got a team that's been together for a very long time, and on the other hand, we got a team that's only been together for like a couple of weeks, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. Also coming in, we thought Liquid, you know, they might be up already 2-0 in this, but they're coming in losing.
Yeah.
So it is going to feel a little bit different. But you're right, 2 years being together versus a team who I believe just picked up their middle player actually a week ago for this tournament. They've been trying out multiple players, and maybe they found one.
Yeah, maybe they did. I mean, it is feeling a little bit different, especially because we lost Fogged. He had to go prepare for his upcoming cast, but we do have someone that can fill his spot. Thomas, would you mind playing in Mr. Lizard?
Yeah. Thank you, Thomas.
Hello, Lizard.
Hello.
Did you like me calling you Mr. Lizard?
Mr. Lizard, I feel very, I don't know.
Professional?
Up for the job.
All right, so you're here for Liquid versus Demon Slayers. You also cast the previous game. You saw Liquid up close in their previous series.
Yeah, that game was a mess. The second game and the first game looked a little bit better for them, but that second game was just a mess. They got crushed. I hope they'll find some way to come back into the second series, at least to give us like something enjoyable to watch. Nothing else. I'm not throwing any shade on them.
All right, calm down.
I mean, you're not wrong, right? I think a lot of people expect them to be at least top 2 at this tournament. They kind of got ran over by NIP.
Truth be told, I think it's like drafts. PPD really outdrafted them hard. I think that's the point. Like that Bloodseeker, it's a hero that's played quite a lot right now. It's a hero that's banned quite a lot right now, but he just couldn't find his place in the first series at all, in that second game. Like, they crushed him in the laning stage. That I believe was...
Yeah, it was rough.
You know, even with the Mirana winning mid, like versus a Razor, getting a solo kill, like they still couldn't do anything.
The thing about poor Mirana is she needs an extra item. Like, if you compare her to Razor, she always needs one more item to be as efficient as other mid laners.
Yeah, and she had that Bloodlust as well, right? Like, that Bloodlust usually helps her out, gives her some bonus damage with the changes to Maelstrom that happened like a year ago. It gives you the bonus damage, the attack speed, but it just wasn't enough.
And it felt like, I mean, dude, Cormoran, I don't know, I just never want to see it again, because like, I actually watched in a fight, Biver snowballed, she had to use all 3, this was when it was level 1 leap, all 3 leaps to escape 1 gank. Like, that's not good at all. That's a long cooldown on leap at level 1.
Yeah, it really is, but I think, you know, probably lesson learned. It's all about learning lessons. I think this weekend for all teams involved, you know, it's all, as much as we like to think, you know, this is the end-all be-all for these teams participating, which for some actually it is this season, but for a lot their eyes are set further down to the on the horizon on majors, and then even further TI.
Did you just say this might be the end for them this whole season? Are they not going to play the next qualifier?
No, I mean, in this round.
They're just done. They lose this, they're done.
Both Demon Slayers and Fly to Moon have not qualified for minor nor major, so this season, this is what they got.
Yeah, well...
This is their chance. They got to prove that with this roster, they can get far. Because maybe next season, if it doesn't work, they can switch things around. This is where they have to prove that they're good.
You just mean next minor major?
Next minor major?
Yeah, December.
You're saying
next season of qualifiers.
Oh,
That's
next
You're making me nervous here, Sheeper. Making me real nervous. I was like, man, you really don't like Demon Slayer 30. Fly to Moon, they're done for a year.
It's the first land of the season.
No.
Yeah,
I mean like rotation.
Yeah,
of next minor major.
No, I agree. Like, you definitely have to show this is your one chance. It's $250,000 as well. Like for a team, especially from NA, right? We don't see a lot of tier 2, 3, even 4 NA teams go to LAN. Like, this is the one chance, and they got to prove themselves.
They do.
And they should not be underestimated. Like, Demon Slayers, we casted their games in the minor and major qualifiers. They look good. They look solid, even though they swapped 3 players in less than a month.
Yeah. It was all the mid players.
You're not really selling.
It was the mid player, though. They've kept their core 4 together. It was just that mid they keep swapping out.
If you think about it, there aren't many teams, or there's just Liquid, that are stable in this tournament even,
Yes.
right? It's only Liquid that have been together for a long time.
And they lost.
And they lost. So that's usually in Dota it's like that.
Yeah.
If you're long together, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to succeed.
True.
Like getting a new stack together, it gives you some special energy. Like you're all together for the first time, you believe in each other. After your midder has died like 5 times in one game, you kind of lose that trust and that energy going
Yeah, but
into
what
the next
if
games.
they're saving strats?
Yeah.
What if?
What if?
What the old big what if?
All right, let's focus on Liquid a little bit here again. We just saw them. We're talking about lessons. Sure, Mirana, Core might be one of the bigger lessons there, but you know, there's only a short amount of time that they have between that series and this one. What are their main concerns you know, adjust? Because losing is very important in the process of becoming a top-tier Dota 2 team, right? Because you need to know how to deal with with losses and how to learn from them. So what are the main lessons?
I believe if they stuck together for 2 years, in the first month of those 2 years, they were losing to my stack. So they definitely...
Whoa.
Wow, they were that bad?
I'm just saying that they were that bad that they were losing to me. And they improved. So they can definitely go over their losses and improve off of that. So I believe Liquid is a team that can definitely come back from a loss. It shouldn't be that difficult for them.
Yeah, and you are coming back against a team I'd say most probably consider are maybe the biggest underdog, the most chance to get last place, so you have to definitely show up here. If they come into game 1, if they somehow get out-drafted again, then that's when I'm like, okay, it's only 3 games, but now you're making me a little nervous.
They took a game of Quincy Crew in one of the qualifiers, and they almost beat them in the second game, so they should definitely not be underestimated.
Yeah.
Well,
They know how to play, they know how to read the map, they move accordingly, and you would expect nothing from these guys, especially those who don't follow the scene.
Yeah,
but if you watch their games, they have a lot of potential.
And that's always scary. But that also means that for Liquid, I mean, there's not that much research to go off of as well. They just have to focus really on themselves, and that's a good thing. You know, they gotta do better. And in the past, it was always Boxy. That if Boxy had a good game, Alliance, then Alliance, now Liquid had a good
Boxy,
game.
who got the MVP last game.
Yeah,
That means something.
I'm not sure if that was good or not.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even it was Centaur versus Axe in that game 1, and the thing was just Axe does more with farm, but Boxy still had a good game. The problem was like surrounding, like he blinks in maybe, or he didn't even get blink. He had like the Vanguard. He runs in. No one else was there to follow up.
It's the way you play these two heroes. On one side, you have this Axe that's a counter. I believe Lacoste said it even while the draft was happening. That Axe destroys Jug, especially if Axe is ahead. Like you get that blink plus blade mail and Jug just dies. In one team fight, Axe was hitting a blade mail, Jug was hitting a blade mailed pig and he died to it. Like it's basically a porcupine that he died to. Like...
It was budget bristleback.
Yeah, budget bristleback, pretty much.
Yeah, I think I agree though. I think Boxy, he does need to have definitely a better game. He needs to do what Universe did. He needs to take over these games for him.
Yeah, usually the box is the one that we're praising when the X-Alliance new Liquid squad is playing well, and the dude can play some real quality Dota, and I expect more from him.
I think both games in the previous series, after I asked you like what to expect from this game, it was first focus on the Axe, then focus on the Batrider. It was always Universe that was the one that you know we had to look out for in that game, and we didn't really say that same for Boxy and the impact that he had to have.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the drafts, right? Because like you could tell Peter set the draft up to believe in Universe to set it up. It felt like, especially that game 1 draft by Liquid, it was just like, we have a lot of stuns, let's stun him and kill him. They didn't really have that overall game plan, I felt.
And this second game, they just threw Boxy under a bus.
They really
Like
did.
they gave him this Kunkka on the offlane, like he has no business like on that offlane versus a Necro plus a Shadow Demon. He couldn't get anything done. Even, like the problem is, usually if you send an offlaner like that, that isn't really an offlaner, at least he can creep skip. At least he can go behind the tower, at least he can get those creeps behind his tier 1 and get some experience. But you can't do that versus a Shadow Demon. He disrupts you, the creeps are like, all right, see ya bro, you're out of here.
I mean, even without Shadow Demon, didn't he cut the creeps and then he died to tier 2, but Skeeter was just walking there and he got full experience. It was just, it was not good for him. So definitely draft him a little bit, not a comfortable hero, just a draft that works around him. Don't just throw him into a lane like that, as Lizard said.
We did hear Insania talk about how, I mean, he was going up against Peter, right? In terms of captains, Peter is a scary one to go up against. Let's find out what Insania had to say about upcoming match.
Demon Slayers are a bit of an unknown team to me. However, North American teams tend to have a tendency of playing a bit similar to each other, so we're going to be preparing against them similarly to how we would prepare against any North American team. North American teams don't really like to play Dota, they like to hit creeps, so you're going to try to prepare yourself by attacking the creep camps and making sure you're there before they get there.
All right, you don't play Dota, you hit creeps.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Grant, what do you have to say about this?
I mean, Lacoste, you've played our pubs. I can't defend. Dude, have you watched our pubs? It's literally the two cores go, they farm 500 CS, there's one fight and the game's over. I mean, he's not wrong. I do think in a pro sense, maybe it's a little bit different, but even on Demon Slayer, it's not even a North American carry player. They have Costa Bile from South America, who's their carry, and I mean, he's obviously the most experienced player on their team, bro.
He was at the first DPC event ever created in the history of Dota 2.
I gotta go back to jungling. Like this is the place to be. I mean, you see it in your pubs, in high-level pubs. When your cores are not doing anything, just being in the jungle, that's when you start screaming. Like, get the hell out of there, do something. This is what you have to say.
Did you ever do the good old strategy, buy 10 sentries and just block your jungle? Did you ever resort to that?
Been there, done that. Like, you need to stop them from entering your own jungle. Like, you need to be out there doing something. If you're just hitting neutral creep, you're literally not doing anything.
What about Gunner last game?
Well, it was justified in the previous game. You need to come back into the game. But you saw Gunner after the enemy mid made a rotation. He goes back straight to mid lane. Doesn't go to jungle anymore.
He had PPD in that game, and PPD made sure that he had so many stacks. That passive of Razor actually works really well when you have a bunch of stacks around you in that special little triangle. He just got so much farm that he was even with Mirana when it comes to network, even after feeding that first blood to her.
All right, let's talk about Demon Slayers. I wonder how they got their name, and I'm excited to see them going up against J-Storm perhaps at some point.
They won Scream against J-Storm against Jimmy, I guess.
No, I believe it's literally just an anime.
It's an anime.
It's an anime. Demon Slayer is an anime. That's actually what it is.
I thought it was like a slight
No, it's not cool, not like we will slay demon. It's an anime.
Okay, Demon's here too, of course, coach of J-Storm. Okay, so let's focus on the enemy team, Demon Slayers here. All the players separately, most of them are somewhat, well, Francis Lee, Costa Bile actually are the only two that I actually recognized. But you knew Xuan as well?
Xuan has been around. He's probably one of the oldest captains in NA that hasn't, like, Stan King came, he's gone. Xuan captained the Void Boys with 747, Snaking, and Jin Q before he moved back to China. So he has experience.
Happen? Like
2015, I believe.
2015,
Yeah, he is captain. So, he's captained multiple TI players. I believe he's ranked 20 himself on NA, which is pretty good. He's played carry and he's support. And I will say, Insania brought up the point that they are very similar in NA. I think they are. Xuan is a super hard 5, and he will captain the full game by himself. So Insania's a little bit right on that part, but Xuan, man, he's been around and he has done it all. He was on the Drinking Boys team that got memed at TI4.
Drinking Boys, Void Boys.
Yeah, he's just one of the boys, I guess.
Boys.
Yeah,
Xuan was breaking some ankles during the minor and major qualifiers. Some really sick solo plays from him. But I think the Old White is the player to look out for. He creates so much space for the team, knows how to play from behind, and Sanking has to go. Either Sanking
and that is
banned
the offlaner as well.
Yes.
So we got, again, offlaners to look at this series, Boxy and All White.
It's pretty much the patch of the offlaners as well. It's so much, like, you just get this Axe or a Centaur, you get someone tanky, and if that Shadow Demon doesn't go through, you can't kill the hero. I believe one of the reasons why Shadow Demon is so strong right now is that he's able to cut through these heroes, be it with the stacks of the poison or with the 40% HP removal.
And also, if the game is not going well, Shadow Demon just go study jungle again, stack some camps. You can stack multiple camps with Shadow Demon.
Plus, you have that save at any given point in the game. We saw that versus Alliance.
Here are the stats.
It's looking pretty good for Boxy. The only one that Old White's winning is Deaths, which isn't good, but he definitely plays. I mean, we watched. Old White played so much Kunkka in the qualifiers, like this offlane Kunkka, and he was the suicidal kind of offlaner, but he always made stuff happen. He never really had a game like Boxy did last game.
As long as you're not shut down completely like Boxy was.
You can't be. You have to find something.
As long as you get that boat on time so that you have the ROM to work with. That ROM could have been very crucial for Liquid in that last game if it came a little bit sooner, because it would allow the Bloodseeker to fight earlier too. But he was just level 4 at minute 10, 12 even, so he just never got there.
They 2-1-2 a lot, so I won't expect, because I think that was the problem, right? You just put a solo Kunkka down there against 2 heroes that
Good
counter
luck.
him. Yeah, like they just gave up. Yeah, I don't think Xiwan would do that. I think Flea lanes with him a lot, so they should be fine.
And Flea, extremely greedy position 4 player. They also play kind of a different heroes that what's in the meta right now. We see a couple of times him playing Zeus, and it was extremely effective.
He owned.
I think it's a really good position 4 as well, that teams should start picking more often. Zeus is really good. Like, just having a free sentry ward at any given point in the game is super crucial, plus the amount of damage that he can dish out, and the Nimbus that adds so much to the teamfights. Like, he's useful at every given point in the game, which is really good.
The vision. You don't use ulti to kill steal, you use it before it starts, so you can see where they are located. And
stop blinks.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, we heard what Insania had to say about Demon Slayers before the match. Let's hear what Xuan has to say before this match.
So for the game against Liquid, I think it's just any other game. We will treat it as any other game, and just try our best, play the best Dota we can, and hopefully we can win this.
Yeah, we already have a specific strategy against them, but it's just all up to us.
So you're not going to tell us anything?
No way.
All right, no secret shared, and they're just going to focus on themselves. That's the best way of doing it, right?
No, I definitely think it is, and especially if you're the underdogs, hey, don't give anything away, honestly. You never know what can happen. Just go into the game, fresh, free slate, write your own story.
Huh? I mean, that's how they got here, too.
Yeah.
You know what he should have said? We're going to pick Broodmother. So that's one ban from
Just do it.
from Team
We're
Liquid.
taking Brood and Meepo.
We have a
Boom.
Meepo player, and just stare at the camera. We have a Meepo. That's it.
I will say it's interesting because during I casted the Open Qualifiers, I actually interviewed him and their middle player at the time afterwards, and they just said, all Xiwan kept saying was, we made it because practice, we play a lot, we scrim a lot, we play a lot of pubs, and that's to everyone out there. Like, honestly, just playing a lot is the best way to improve, so.
I did hear some stuff from their manager recently. Yeah. Moxie was talking to him, and yeah, they didn't have too many scrims before this particular tournament.
Okay.
They also changed their midder, they're seeing things out twice. They don't really have a lot of time to practice if you don't know who's playing your mid. It's not really easy.
So talk to me a little bit about iAnnihilate. He will be the mid player. We saw Koikfa in the previous game. He did well against Gunnar. How do we feel like this mid matchup is gonna go?
I would say Koikfa probably is a better player, but they play very similarly, where they won't just overextend and die. They play like those more DK Razor-esque heroes where they won't lose their lane, but they won't win the game either. And we saw, I believe, 2 Dream Leagues ago when he was with Team Runes, iAnnihilate kind of just crumbled on LAN. Like, he had some really rough games.
He's a high MMR player for a couple of years, but doesn't have too much experience on LAN, which
it hurts.
It's a problem when you get to a LAN, right? It's definitely Lacoste knows as a player as well. Once you get to that LAN, you choke. You choke. I wasn't throwing any shade at him, but I was the same. You get to a LAN and you just, like, the feelings get to you. Until you get a couple of those under your belt, then it becomes a little bit easier.
You need experience on LAN.
Yes.
Have you tried telling Thompson that?
Well, in that year, he had a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 LANs, a couple at least. Did he? Not
did
one? I'm done.
Just keep going, maybe she won't know. Maybe she won't know.
1 in a million.
4 LAN?
His first international LAN was the international 8.
That is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that it depends on the person as well, right? Some people, all the energy that you get from playing on a stage, they can use it to good use and put it to good use and actually perform better. And some, they just need to get used to that pressure because it's, I don't know, it's a personal thing.
Definitely, it's different from one person to another. Someone performs well under high pressure, someone just crumbles.
It can also just be a matter of who's your captain.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. OG, you have no till. You have this guy, I mean, he was obviously in Han, but then Dota 2, he's like one of the most respected captains. It's a little different here because you have Xiwan who, like, I mean, if you watch NA, you're like, this guy's good, but like, you don't really have that guy who's played on LAN himself already. Like, these guys are all fresh.
Yep.
When Thompson played, they've all played on LAN but him.
Having someone in the team who can calm you down, especially when you're trying to come back into the game, I think a good reason in the previous game was Gunnar going back to jungle while Peter is stacking for him. This is what the true captain does.
Yeah.
He stacks for you.
Yeah, but he probably also says, you know, don't worry about mid. I got stacks in the jungle. So
yeah, but he was also pinging out the mid, if you were looking closely.
Yeah.
When he was jungling, like go back to the mid, show out the wave, pressure the tower since enemy midder was missing.
A hands-on captain.
Yeah.
And that's good, especially as you said, because those guys are all new as well, pretty much. Like Gunnar, sure, he's been to a couple lands, Skeeter as well, but like they haven't been on like a big stage like this. So
yeah,
it's good to have
as we
hands-on.
said, Universe is the only experienced player on that team other than PPD, of course.
Yep.
So
Fiverr has some line experience.
He's in the middle, yeah. He's not low,
Yes.
not high, but he's there.
he's been there. He's
Yeah,
just
he
never
has.
really broken through.
Yeah.
He did put out great performance though. But NIP is having a break right
Get
now.
out of here.
They get the luxury of looking at this series because the only other team they have to face later is Demon Slayers, so they can look, relax, and just watch it happen.
Yep.
And it's of course important to note that regardless of who, regardless of how the group stages play out, nobody is getting eliminated today. Everybody will play just the top of the group. They will move to the upper bracket finals, and then the other two teams in the group will start in the lower bracket finals. So it should be, I don't know, that's some confidence, right? That doesn't matter too much in terms of pressure. It means that you can play a little bit more carefree.
Yeah, I think you can definitely play. I think if you're one of the favorites here, it's actually more pressure because you're like, well, we don't want to start in a loser's bracket. But if you are a team like Demon Slayers, you're like, you know what? We should learn from this group stage and then come loser's bracket, we'll show you what we got.
Yeah.
I don't think they come with the attitude to go to the loser's bracket,
No,
but they're
of
going
course
to take
not.
one game at a time.
One game
And it's
at a time.
it's always easier to play when you're an underdog because you got nothing to lose.
It's true. We're going to find out how they're going to do on the stage. But to get them on the stage, we first have to welcome them in. So Rotterdam, please make some noise for these teams. It is Demon Slayers and Team Liquid. And a handshake, of course. A little bit more focused on their faces this time around. If you compare it to the first series of the day,
Yeah, definitely. A bit more serious there.
more serious,
Honestly,
yeah.
Losing will definitely do that to you. As Lacan said, you never want to lose a game. Well, I don't think so, but yeah, it'll definitely just straighten you up. And now, you know, they've got a coach, Blitz. He's not usually one to crack the whip, but we'll
Do you
have to
think
see.
there was ever a
Like
team in
he
history of
loves
Dota that just said, we're going to lose this one on purpose and come back with 2-0 after that?
I bet there's one team who's done it one time. It had to be one of those cocky. It had to be
Probably.
like Puppy or
I
something.
mean,
He's
if
like,
you
"This is
remember
easy."
EG and the way they would always go through the lower bracket.
True.
Yeah.
That must have been it.
Yeah,
They did it on purpose.
they did. They're like, we got to prove we're the best of the worst and the best of the best at the same time.
I mean, that works.
It worked.
You know, they
One- yeah,
actually
that
made
worked.
it work.
Practice, if nothing else. Like,
It is. It's
Yeah.
true. You never want to be down there, but it is good practice. It's better practice. Like an elimination game is even more different than this. Like
Yeah.
more pressure, just a giant wave of it.
No, this is literally, I think, rather than about your opponents, you're focusing mostly on yourself, and that's how it should be. And of course, for this game as well, you guys at home have a job to do. You are choosing an MVP. Hashtag player names in the Twitch chat, and here they are. I think the most important one to note is I Annihilate. Is probably the most difficult name on this
Easily.
roster.
Yeah,
Dude,
if
I
you don't
can't even
spell it
spell his name on
correctly,
stream. Yeah.
he doesn't get any points.
Yeah. No, he's one because when I do my streams, right, I put names in the top right corner. I never spell his name. Or like, it's a tough word, Annihilate. Well, no, it really isn't. But for me, it is.
No,
Apparently, I guess.
I just crossed out an extra A that I had.
It's not me then.
It's like I Annihilate.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's an
And there's
extra
an H, and you're like, who does he hate? Isn't there? Is there no H in Annihilate?
I don't think there's an A.
There's no?
Well,
There's an H.
there is
I
an H.
Annihilate. What?
Yeah,
There is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
well
should
then I still misspelled it after removing
Listen
the
to
A.
the Slavic boys for
I told you it's tough. I told
Can we
you.
go back to the MVP? I want to see what I did wrong.
Let me see. I
We're not doing it. All right.
A-N-N-I-L.
A-N-I-L-A-T-E.
Some, whatever.
All right. There it is. Wait a second. Where's
Well,
the
the
H?
fighting Pepegas aren't here, but the
Ah.
normal
There it
ones
is.
are. Yeah, it's, no, there's no. Yeah, it is.
There it is.
H-I. Yeah, I still
I
don't.
did it.
Are you sure it's there? Are you sure?
All right. We can't spell. That's okay. We don't need to. We just need to talk,
Yeah,
right? We're not here to write
exactly.
stuff down. We are here to talk, but we're not going to talk for a little bit because we're going to have a short break. But when we're back, it means we are in the draft of the first game of this series. Stay tuned.
Step lively now. Your Admiral is on board.
I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great. It's time. You better stand up. It's time. You better do what you gonna do.
You are liquid sun. You are the only one. You are liquid sun. You are the only one. Don't fall down now under the sun. Don't fall down now under the sun. Under the sun. You are liquid sun. And I like you. You are the only.
We heard it from our commentators. We heard it from our analysts. We heard it from Ninjas in Pajamas' own Skyder. It was all in the draft in the previous series, and that is where we are at. Again, can Team Liquid turn it around and draft a better plan for themselves? That is the question in this game, and how does Demon Slayers do here in their first landed squad?
I love their banner picture.
Their banner picture.
Yeah. Once we go into the draft,
Oh,
we're going to
dear.
see it.
Yeah,
It's
I
Nicolas
saw it.
Cage from Con Air.
Yep, an absolute classic movie if you haven't seen it, by the way.
That's such an old movie.
Yeah, it's so
It is.
It's 1992, I think?
I've seen it quite a few times,
Oh,
actually.
me too. It's
Yeah.
one of the ones always on TV.
On
Like you're
TV.
turning it on, you're like, oh, I guess I'm watching Nicolas Cage again.
It's like Christmas. You
For
want to
the
watch
10th
Home
time in a
Alone
row.
or Con Air?
Yeah, it's a great Christmas movie.
Yeah, Con Air. Oh,
Okay.
I agree. Honestly, Demon Slayers, surprisingly, they play more like NIP than they do like other NA teams, which I guess technically NIP is 3 out of 5 NA, but they're playing in Europe. So I wouldn't doubt if you saw like Shadow Demon's already banned out. Yeah, same with Kunkka. They might honestly just first pick an Oracle. I'm not sure if it's good, but they might do it.
Is it something that they like, just to start off with some sort of a save, a defensive save such as Oracle?
Yeah, and it's like, Juwan's just comfortable. It doesn't give away anything as well, and he's a decent laner, right? You secure pretty much every range creep, which is nice with Oracle.
It also opens up some possibilities with some cheesier style of heroes. You have some Huskars, some monkeys.
I know they love Undying.
Oh, Grimstroke, okay. All right.
We've seen Flea played this a lot, actually, as a 4. I think they play it both, but... Wait, what'd you say, Lacoste?
I know they love to play Undying.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that hero right now?
My thoughts on that hero is that his win rate is probably under 30%, at least the games that I see.
Yeah.
Well, there's Mirana.
Interesting that Gyro has been banned out too, because he is in the same boat like Undying, I believe. Like a very low win rate core at the moment. Been nerfed a couple of times, but teams still continued picking him as they had, let's say, no better options. I believe one hero that we didn't see in that first series that should be picked more often is Chaos Knight. I think we'll see a bit more of him.
Yeah, Quincy Crew really loves to play that hero.
And Zeus, there we go, picked up. We talked about it a bit earlier.
This is their go-to, Grimstroke plus Zeus, but they need an offlaner with the low cooldown stun. This is where they go for Sand, so I expect Team Liquid to ban it out.
So much damage already coming from like Grimstroke, Zeus, plus let's say that Sand King. It's insane, and on the other side you have Mirana and Crystal Maiden. These heroes are just going to melt.
And it could be, I know, I expect, like 99% I think this is Flea's hero, but I know Annihilate plays a lot of middle Zeus, so it's a little bit open. I just don't like core Zeus anymore, though. It feels like he's another hero, he just dies a lot. Like, what does he do?
Position 4 Zeus does the same thing, just a little bit later.
Yeah. And you have another core because you have that Zeus, which makes it better.
It's just difficult to justify a core Zeus unless he's really strong versus something in the lane, or you just need that necessary bonus amount of damage earlier. But there's so many other heroes that you can put on that lane that do that better and faster.
Yeah, I think you do. You ban out like Sand King and Centaur if you're Liquid, something like that. Sand King especially. I definitely think you take him out. Losing a lot of time though.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We said we gave a lot of importance to the offlane heroes.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're already thinking about right now?
Usually you are, but I believe this Bloodseeker is a really good ban because there's also a Zeus involved. Blood Rage plus Zeus, it's insane amount of damage, and at the same time, you're just damaging everyone, and Bloodseeker is getting a lot of those thirst charges, so it's a really good combination of heroes. Grimstroke also isn't that bad with Bloodseeker, obviously, double Rupture.
Yeah, and I know Insania talked about, like, he doesn't know much about this team, but I'm sure he looked at the replays of Minor Major, and Costa B, like, he played Bloodseeker like 40% of the games. They played it a lot.
I think they need to ban out something like a Storm Spirit or Ember Spirit in this case because they have no lockdown.
Nice call. They take out the Ember. I don't know. I feel like you're right. If they don't ban Sand King, they're just going to, like, instantly take it on a Demon Slayer side. But they have the next pick on Liquid.
It's instead Legion Commander banned out. A little bit more defensive for that offlane, definitely. Brings you a lot of save. And especially the way she's built right now into that utility. Legion Commander with a pipe with Solar Crest.
I thought Tiny was best as position 4 at the moment.
There are teams that play it on offlane as well. Some teams do still roll it mid, but...
if you have Limp on your team, you're still rolling it middle, probably.
I think Boxy is definitely capable of playing this Tiny on the offlane. And you have these two heroes that are super squishy, Grimstroke and Zeus, that you can just blow up at any given point, so Tiny
you get
can
that
work.
blink.
Maybe it's just Koikwa saying, give me Mirana mid again. I want to redeem myself. We can win. I can show the world that Mirana can be played outside position 4.
Would you do it versus Grim and Zeus again, though? Like, there's so much damage.
There's no way. You just get blown up every time. Well, they're taking their time.
He did have a decent game, though. that last match with Mirana, he had a good start. It started off well for him. He did like a surprising amount of damage overall in the mid game, but later on it was just way too difficult for him to carry on his own when Bloodseeker wasn't even.
Wow, would you look at that?
Yeah.
We did our research. No, and it's very strong.
Someone's getting a raise.
Yeah, I mean, we knew they were going to pay it, but it is very strong. Like, you have a Grimstroke Zeus Sand King. You have no lack of damage with your first 3 heroes. You have very good control with Grim and Sand King.
You got the team fight?
Yeah, and you have scale. Like, Zeus is by far one of the best scaling heroes in Dota, like, overall.
Yeah, right now, if you're Demon Slayers, you just have to think about objective taking and rush taking capabilities, and that's pretty much it.
It's still a great Storm Spirit game for Liquid.
Yeah. With a Crystal Maiden on your team as well, it
always
feels
is
real good.
But they're really limited on the tower damage. But if it's a core Tiny, which it looks like it is, he can deal some damage. Also, they can get tower damage from position 1.
Yeah, it feels like people don't care that much about tower damage. Like, right? NIP in both drafts didn't really have any tower damage.
They had the Lycan.
They had the Lycan. Okay, game 1 Lycan, but game 2, right? Their best one
Razor,
was...
Necro, definitely not really the best ones to take down objectives unless... Oh, Demon... Okay, Anti-Mage.
All right, can you slay this one?
Demon Slayer is actually Anti-Mage from Dota 1, so I see this.
My goodness. This is too much for me.
Snatched him away from
Why AM, though?
It's a great anti-mage game. Like, he doesn't care. Everything they have right now is magical.
It's like Spell Shield, you're good.
10 seconds remaining.
We haven't seen a lot
you
of
can always go
anti-mage,
for PL. I think PL is going to start making a comeback.
Why?
Because he got some of the buffs and is underused. Also, he's the ultimate late game carry. They don't have much AoE besides anti-mage, but he can't really just man up and play against AM.
Instead, they go with the Alchemist, a hero that comes online a little bit faster than the Anti-Mage, gets all the items that are necessary for him, and just starts rolling over the map before AM comes online.
Just think of all the Aghanim Scepters.
That's usually the game plan around Alchemist.
When we cast the NA qualifier, we saw an Alchemist, and it struggled, because if you didn't know, the ulti doesn't give mana regen anymore.
Yeah,
and now he's
so
versus an... But even then, he's versus an AM. Like, he actually just, he was always full HP, but he never did anything.
Yeah, it feels like he does not want to have mana.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Alch pick. I thought they had a good draft up till now. And I mean, obviously, they're just pushing the tempo. Demon Slayers play like this in the qual. They want to win games by 25 to 30 minutes every game, and they will
I wish we
that.
had re-pick option.
Yeah.
It's all about the tempo. But also, when you're picking an Alchemist like this, you have to be thinking about side lane Alchemist, not mid, right?
Yeah.
Because there's still one pick left remaining for Liquid, and they can counter it easily.
And I think Tiny does pretty well versus Alchemist middle anyways, doesn't he? I think that's one of the ones Tiny does decent in.
Also, they have good heroes to hunt down Alchemist in the jungle. Tiny, Mirana, you don't necessarily need to kill him. You just disrupt him, buy time, so he's not farming.
Do you need a setup for Mirana, or is Find Crystal Maiden enough of a setup?
You don't really need the setup.
You like it. But...
You like it, it's good if it's there, but you don't truly need it. It's like, when you're playing on this level, you're supposed to hit your arrows. It's not like...
Even with the arrow slow.
It is way harder. I think you're just positioning such a big deal now. Like, you should always be hidden in these trees everywhere. It's weird angles.
It's all about weird angles.
Yeah,
it's not even about how hidden you are, as long as you're hitting a target from a place where his camera isn't going to be.
Yeah, not expected.
Exactly. If you're ganking mid, you need to be, if you're Radiant and you're ganking mid, you need to be on the Dire side of the map. You can't be hitting an arrow from the Radiant side, because that's where the creeps are. He's going to be looking at that, so...
I like that ban a lot. It gives them someone to push behind on that Death Prophet. They could have just, honestly, at 20 minutes, just start 5-man or 4-manning while the Alchemist farms, and there's not much you could do there.
They're trying to kill the tempo that the Demon Slayers are building up.
There are multiple heroes that they can go for, though, to keep up the tempo still.
10 seconds remaining.
This draft, compared to previous series, has taken up all the bonus time on both teams.
Yeah.
That was not the case for the previous series. There's a lot of thought going into this one.
Okay, I've got a question. I mean, I'm not the greatest middle player, one of the greatest, but not the TA versus Tiny. How does that work now? Because I know Demon Slayers loves playing TA. It's a high-tempo hero, but doesn't Tiny do pretty well versus TA or no?
No, I think she should be fine there, right? Like, you have kill potential, let's see, with Tiny, Mirana, and Maiden? I guess you do. But there's nothing that really deals with the refraction charges overall, so it should be a decent TA game. The only problem is, if you roll a TA on Demon Slayers, you have these two heroes that are waiting for their timings.
To come on.
Yeah, you have two cores that are...
No, it could be TA since they banned out the Batrider.
Make me look smart, please. I need all the help I can get.
That's a Viper.
It's a Viper instead. All right.
Well, someone, I mean, it's different than a death prop, but you can't just group up like behind this hero. The hero can hit the tower, they go on you, you just have acid on the ground.
You can definitely itemize in such a way.
Wait, hands in the middle, sorry.
Oh,
I have a question. Because normally when I see Viper picked, it is because they're trying to break something. As in with a nether toxin. What are they trying to break?
Anti-mage.
Anti-mage and their spirit.
Yeah, that's
when you're playing versus Viper, you just want to die.
It's never fun, yeah. Even if like the Viper's losing, you still just like, this is a boring hero to play against.
Yeah, but they instantly go into a Razor, which they can put mid to deal with him, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah. What are we thinking then? Lizard, you want to go first?
I'll go first.
You go first.
I'm first here. I'm still going to go with Liquid.
Yeah.
I'm just not the biggest fan of Viper at the moment, even with an Alchemist on that team. He will be able to create space for him, and they will be playing S4, but at one point, I believe the AM is just going to take over, no matter what.
Yeah, if
no
they
matter how much
lose
time
the
they make.
laning stage, it's going to be real tough for them to come back, because they need to rely on Sanking having a good game, so he can create space, because he's the only reliable stunner for the team. Viper doesn't provide anything, so Sanking's Blink Dagger is going to be crucial in this one, and if they lose the laning stage, late game is definitely on Liquid side.
I mean, that's all good, but this is it. NA, they're finally here. You know, people want to say support the tier 2, tier 3 scene. I'm going to support them right now. Demon Slayers, they're going to take the tempo. I honestly feel, I mean, we called the first 3 picks they had, and I think they're very solid picks. I think Flea is going to have one of the greatest Zeus performances of all time, Demon Slayers.
I mean, you're the only one with 100% prediction rate so far.
Keep it up.
I will join him, because, you know, who am I to go against 100%?
It would be dumb, yeah.
Yeah, it would not be.
No offense, guys.
What I hear, though, is that Demon Slayers is on a timer. And there's anti-mage, it's like a ticking time bomb on the side of Team Liquid. So it's all going to be about that early game. Can Demon Slayers, you know, make a dent into Liquid's armor before that anti-mage gets big? Let's find out with OD Pixel and Fog.
Yes, thank you very much, Steven. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ourselves ready for the second series of the day. Team Liquid up against Demon Slayers. I'm OD Pixel here with Fog. We're from the panel. They seem to think this could be a pretty decent anti-mage game. Would you sort of tend to agree with them here, or do you think there could be some worries in terms of what Demon Slayers have against it?
Definitely looks pretty good. He's versus Zeus, high mana pool hero. We heard a lot about the Sanking. That's why we saw like the Sanking. As soon as the Sanking was picked, AM is picked immediately afterwards by Liquid. We talked to the professionals and the pros at TI, and they talked about that so much. Just the AM is able to get a free lane because he's able to just burn the mana and just stick versus that Sanking in the mid game. You can get your nice reflects, and that's their real lockdown for the AM. It's mostly going to be played on that Sanking to try to catch him. So Mickey should be able to have a decently free time, but I do think there is a pace setting that Demon Slayers can set. Because they do have a good mid-game timing. If the Alchemist is able to get a good Radiance, Viper gets up together, they can actually look to push and close the game out before Anti-Mage is even a hero. But they need a lot of things to go right for them, SimSlayer.
Yeah, and in terms of some of the lane matchups, is there any sort of particular lanes you want to be avoiding if you're one of these teams to make sure that you do get that good start?
Wondering if they're going to actually dodge the Sanking, but I don't know if they can. Like, if they want to move the Sanking away from the AM, because this is just going to allow Mickey to have full free farm down bottom if they do just put the Sanking down here. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the case. I'm also wondering how the mid lane matchup's going to do that Viper versus Razor. But this should just be a first blood.
I mean, yeah, they got the setup there with the Sentry Wall placed down. Old White will try and get himself out of range of it, but it won't happen. And you said that the anti-mage is already going to have a good lane. He's just got away with first blood as well to start it off.
Yeah, now they can actually just move around the... I mean, Mirana was probably going to move around anyway, but now they can just leave a dual lane down here. Mirana can roam a lot and put pressure on those lanes. mid lane, Viper versus Razor, it can be kind of even. The problem is that Viper, you're a slow hero. Razor, you get a little bit of an advantage on this. You get a full link almost every single time on Viper, and Viper really suffers from that. And you're gonna have to worry about arrows. So I'm definitely looking at Koikva should have an advantage here too. So right now, Liquid, 2 of their lanes look really, really strong for me.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how those go, because I think, you know, even in some of the previous games we've seen today from Liquid, they sort of had chances in some of the lanes, but they didn't go too great. You know, they've had a rough 2 games so far, so they do have to pick it up and show us what they are capable of here in this series. As dropping another game on top of the 2 already would not be a great start for Liquid here at DreamLeague.
I feel like mid's going to be a disaster for Demon Slayers already. Like the first block, initial block on the wave, Koikva had it on his hill. So right there, he's got 30 link, so 3-1 last hits on that first wave, and it should just continue. So yeah, mid, it's definitely going to be really hard.
And I mean, if you're Demon Slayers, how'd you help that mid lane situation out? Who are you sending over there? You can't really move the Grimstroke over, right? Otherwise, Out's just going to get destroyed on his own up top. And
I think you just have to accept.
Could the Zeus do much early on? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so. I think that's going to be a completely dominant lane, though. I think Koikva is going to smash it, and bottom is going to be an AM free farm.
You might as well say he's head to the jungle.
I mean, it's concerning for sure. He does have the option to jungle, though, right? He
does.
Have that
It's a Viper, yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely going to be a very problematic lane. And top, like you said, there's no way to help this Viper.
No.
They can't move the Zeus. They can't really move the Grimstroke because these are the lanes they need help. Maybe the Zeus can start to move, but Zeus, like their ganking is just not. They don't have.
That's the thing. What's he going to do? Walk up, throw out a bit of magical damage, and then that's all he can have to offer at the early stages.
I think the nicest thing that Zeus can pretty much do right now is help the Sanking right here to get some levels in farm and just try to find some D wards.
We're trying to get something for Old White, but obviously because of the situation with their draft and lanes, it doesn't mean that there's no pressure on the anti-mage who, okay, starting off the game with free farm down on that safe lane. The same cannot be said though for top lane. Alchemist Costabile certainly feeling a bit of heat from the lane that Liquid have put against that out to start things off.
Yeah, it's not a strong lane by them as Flea, he's just gonna quickly get brought down here by this combo.
Trying to get the last touchdown, Mickey. Won't be the case. Insane is the one to grab that, but still just more glory for Liquid in that safe lane.
Yep. That was Annihilate doing 3 last hits to the 13-5 of the Razor.
It's not great. He's getting a little bit of breathing room here, but Koikva, he headed away to grab a double damage rune. So this lane's just going to get infinitely worse for the Viper, as I don't think he's going to get a single creep.
Yeah, missing that first block is so devastating. And now this top, they've got a tiny Namarana putting pressure on.
Boxy with a wraparound, a couple of hits on Costabile will do it. There we have it. Boxy gets the kill on that. He's trying to find the one in return there, Juan. See if he can land the nuke. He cannot. Tiger's able to dodge it. He's salving up. Boxy's still right-clicking away as they'll take both of them down. Double kill for Boxy on the top lane. 4-0, 1K lead, all 3 higher CS, the 3 cores of Liquid so far in the first 3 minutes.
And I was talking about how I was like mid and bottom were going to be the big problems, and now they're able to get double kills set up on top as well. This is really devastating. It's 3 minutes in, but panel, they did talk about if Demon Slayers get behind in the laning phase, that's where their draft just completely falls apart. This anti-mage getting full free farm, Razor going to have full control and continue to do so. Annihilate getting pushed back. 4 last hits to 21-11.
It's not great. It's not great. I mean, hey, you know, sometimes the first game of the day for Annihilate, it's maybe feeling a little rusty. It's not looking good in the mid lane. As you said, not necessarily the best sort of matchup for him to play top lane. Bit of action as Costabile is going to be able to turn and look towards Boxy with a buff up from Juan. They'll get the 1 kill. Tiger actually nearly falls as well. At the same time, though, down bottom, Liquid get another kill onto Flea. Mickey is able to get in, and this time he will be the one to get that last touch. So more money for the anti-mage. It's a free farming anti-mage, a free farming Razor, and pretty much even free farming on the Boxy. Tiny up top, he's having a great time. He's going to look to come back in towards Costabile. Costabile will be able to dodge that arrow being sent out. It's a mini TP from Annihilate just to get away from Koikva stealing that damage with the static link. But still a very, very miserable start for the Viper in this mid matchup. He is going to have the jungle to turn to. You'll certainly expect to see at a point where he will need to, as he's going to get run down and dove underneath the tower if the levels continue to go the way that they are. Oh, Koikva, bottom lane. Then we go from Liquid, looking for Old White. He's out of mana. Will be pushed away. They won't kill him this time, but still, without mana, it's going to mean that Old White's going to have to take time away from the lane, as this game does continue to be pretty much a perfect start in all 3 lanes for Liquid. Let's see. Juan's able to get the moves on now to start to move around the map here at 5 minutes down bottom. Okay, won't be able to grab the bounty. He's something there for old White. He's able to sneak in and grab it. And this is what I talked about in the mid. As soon as the levels are there, you've got a 2-level advantage on Quake. He's going to start trying to play incredibly aggressive on Annihilate, pushing him back behind the tier 1 tower. Juan is going to come in, see if he can punish Quake for this overextension. South will be cancelled. Still got a fair bit of HP to play with. Boost from Wraith Band. He can, in fact, just look to chase down Juan. He's heading towards the creep camp, but he's dead. Quake won't get the kill on mid. We'll get the kill on the rotating support instead. Same time, Flea able to get a bit of action going there for Demon Slayers, as he is able to find Insania a little out of position and nuke him down. And there we have it. 5 minutes, 40 seconds in. It's not looking any better for Liquid, Fog.
No, it is not. Can you hear me? My back. I am back. Hello. Yeah, it's looking rough. They did that rotation, like you said, to try to protect, but protecting versus this Razor, it's just...
He's so fat.
Yeah, he's just too big. Like you said, 2-level advantage. They're setting up these stacks.
Oh, no, but
who's going to get these stacks?
I was going to say, they're going to make sure they get them ASAP. Because if you see the way that Quake's playing, he's very likely to take a wander into the woods, and he will take away those stacks very quickly.
You can just start calling people over. Like, Taiga and Insania are starting to threaten, but they can just be like, hey,
if you get Quake for in it, or
either one of them.
Yeah, any sort of core, probably not the anti-mage at this stage of the game, you're able to walk in and take those easily. He's got full tread stun. He's going to find Annihilate. He stepped down for an illusion rune. It's going to cost him his life as the Viper will fall. Annihilate's game continuing to be an eternal struggle for him.
Viper is one of those heroes as well. When you die like this,
oh yeah,
not back to back in this essence, but pretty much back to back, and you're sitting at what, 12 last hits. You are in a almost irrecoverable position. You need to just start going to the jungle, but you can't because everybody on your team is jungling. You have no place to be. Your Shanking's jungling, your Alchemist is jungling.
I know we've not seen, he's not headed over on Annihilate, can't even say the name, to any sort of neutral camps at all, I don't think. He's just tried to stay in the lane. Sometimes you sort of see that ducking and diving around near that neutral camp by the middle lane, but he's been set on staying mid, and he hasn't been able to take much out of the lane because of that.
Yeah, no pressure onto a anti-mage who has a very nice game ahead of him. The limit disables his Costabile.
I mean, they don't see him, do they? No, they've not got quite vision on him there. If they did,
Tiger's like right there.
If he saw that, it is just out of range.
Oh my god.
It's some risky farming here from Costabile. He's got the ult. Okay. He's got the ult. He's healing up. Meanwhile, Quakefer is able to dive down Fleet. Tiger will show and trade some hits here with Juan. Costabile farming on the edge of his seat. Will get away with it. Liquid won't find him. Alk's farm does continue to roll in, and he's going to need to find a lot of it. Of course, as it stands, both the Viper and the Sand King continue to fall behind their counterparts. Tiger goes for the arrow onto Juan, will miss. Juan goes for the quick TP. Do they have the nuke damage? They won't quite. The second hit doesn't come in time, and Juan will be able to make it out of that.
That was close. Even at base, he had to use the stick. Looked like he was still going to survive, but it was a close attempt. Yep, so full free farm, and they're continuing to... I like the movement that, I keep almost saying Alliance, that Liquid's doing when they make the move into the enemy jungle, right? They know that those stacks are there, get some vision down. You don't need to force the issue super hard, but just be aware of that's happening. You have 3 of your cores absolutely free farming. They know Boxy is literally versus nobody up top, and then bottom, Mickey is pretty much versus nobody either. It's just a Sand King Sandstorming, so... Yeah, they're probably feeling extremely good about this as, Boxy's gonna have a, 10-minute Blink Dagger. Versus a lot of squishy heroes.
Flea's in trouble. There's the wraparound set up there for Mickey to claim another 3-0-1. 8 minutes in on the safe lane anti-mage. It really could not be going any better for Mickey.
Yeah, they're making it look pretty easy with the rotations too, right? Boxy's versus nobody. So he's just like, all right, I can just stay up top here forever, get full free farm. Mid as well, it's a full free farm. So yeah, make the rotation naturally toward your AM. Yeah, they have a lot of options.
So what's sort of the hope here for Demon Slayers? Is what just Costabile still getting the Radiance at like a good timing, and then suddenly sort of being able to farm up that extra bit of items so they can at least turn up to fights with an Alk, with a Radiance, without the threat of him dying straight away. But I guess that's going to be hard, right? As you said, there's a lot of burst and control on Liquid's lineup early on.
It's going to be like all the pressure in the world on Costabile because everyone else is just shut down. Like
they just need to focus the Alk in the team fights. And
absolutely.
At the moment, at least, it's going to be relatively easy for Liquid with the edge they have.
Yeah, I mean, they're in an amazing spot. It's like they're versus an Alchemist, and they have a 3K advantage, and it's only 10 minutes in. That's when you know. And there's a Viper on the other team, too, which Viper, doesn't, like we said, never wants to be in this position. You want to be ahead, and you're 2,000 gold behind your opposing mid, and 3 levels behind.
Right.
This is a good move.
This is a big kill to find. They do catch out Quakefer. The money going to Annihilate as well.
Yep, he needs that.
Needs any little boost he can get, and we'll find it.
I like that their trio of roaming actually now is starting to get more potent. With the Nether Toxin, with the Sand King, they actually have a lot of magic damage.
Sure, yeah, like you can kill the anti-mage if they find him, especially once the Rod of Atos is done on Annihilate. Then you can really start to look to make these moves and try and catch Mickey out. Obviously, you have to be a little careful with the active of the Spell Shield, but if they can hit the timings right between the Rod and the Burrow Strike, they should have a good shot of locking down Mickey long enough to claim the kill with the passive removed.
Yeah. So they at least do still have that. They have some ways to threaten those kills, but they're still quite a bit behind here versus these three cores. But they're getting breathing room. They're sitting back, they're jungling, they're not actually playing the lanes at all. It's just mid being played. They're playing mid lane and the two jungles.
As the timings continue though, Mickey, he's got the money for that first sort of hurdle, the Demon Edge component. He can grab that up.
It's gonna be really big, yeah. Treads already with that.
Having sort of the whole little items on top of the Battle Fury, which is looking to be a very good timing.
Did he buy that dust, or did somebody buy it for him on the anti-mage?
Someone must have bought it for him.
Someone probably bought it for him, okay. So
way.
that's really smart too, is they've given the AM a dust.
Yeah, it's insane, yeah.
Yeah, so insane. So now AM can actually be alone down bottom, because if Sand King shows up, he might even be able to set up a solo kill or just push him out of lane by himself. I like that, just that little thing comes into play.
I feel like, you don't see that in these situations that much, at least at this early stage of the game, just sort of dropping some extra investment onto your core.
Yep, nice setup here, Juan. They have the long stun from that Inkswell.
They do that. They're hitting it perfectly with the ult. They've got it. They've got the burst. They've got the kill. Meanwhile, Tiger does end up picking off Annihilate with the rest of Liquid making a move, but arguably, definitely the more satisfying move there from Demon Slayers. They needed to kill Mickey. He's been having a free game up until now.
That was the big brain play there too, right? That was Juan waiting for him to blink into that secret shop. He was waiting on the side there for Mickey, like expecting, hey, this guy's gonna pick up his perseverance, this guy's gonna pick up something. It looked like he knew for sure.
Boxy will be able to make a big hit down bottom as his arms continue to fly in. 1,500 gold on top of the Blink Dagger. Will punish Fleet.
Cool, he's queued up the pipe as well. They're playing versus such heavy magic burst damage as well on the side of Demon Slayers. I do think that's a pretty cool option to go for here. It's not your traditional, but we have seen it start to get picked up more on like heroes like Legion Commander, just the offlaners. You just pick up your mitigation.
I mean, this game is pretty much entirely magical coming out from Demon Slayers until at least for the first half of this game. Or the early stages.
Yeah, pretty much like the whole game.
I guess there'll be one point where the out punches a little bit, but it's such a tiny amount of the damage output Demon Slayers. The pipe is going to be certainly make things or continue to make things hard for Demon Slayers. Costa Bill, it's getting the space. Radiant stun in a couple of creep camps, so still hitting good timing on the out. He's having a solid start.
Oof, that's still, what, 13 and 12 or something? He's got a super early Battle Fury anyway on that AM, but yeah.
Another death here for Flea is being found quite a lot of times, but again, they're getting some big catches. If they can finish off Boxy, he's so low. The silence sound on the two of them will start to pipe down, and Annihilate's there with the wraparound. He's there coming in on mid, sets up on a Boxy. They'll get quite for two.
That was huge for them.
Liquid, they've had such three great lanes. Tiger, will he find this here? There's a sick charge. He's diving in for it. He's gone underneath the tower. I know that's going to block him off. We'll have another leap to get away. So Tiger, will he survive? He's not going to survive. They're going to kill him as well.
The Viper's recovered.
They had such a good laning stage. And now it is slipping a little bit. Sure, they still have the lead there, 1k ahead against an outcliner, but you can't make these mistakes if you're Liquid. You keep this up, Demon Slayers are going to get ahead. Costa Bill's going to be able to take the game. They've got to hold back a little bit on these plays, Liquid.
Yeah, they were like very, like those individual errors, right?
These are good
Taiga
plays.
could have definitely stepped up a little closer, gotten the double starfall, and not had to commit those leaps, but it looked like he rushed it a little bit after getting that arrow. He actually is forced to leap in and gets them an extra kill, and both the other cores, Boxy as well as Koikfa, dying to Annihilate. They got sandwiched.
Yes, big kills to give away to Demon Slayers. Now Boxy will come in with a blink. Got the three of them. It's a big combo from Boxy, and that will be the quick deaths of both Flea, Juan, and maybe by the looks of it, Old White as well. Just get the Sandstorm out, but they've got the detection. Dust is upon him, and Liquid do strike back with considerable force. Finding three heroes, they don't lose anyone themselves. That's the kind of moves you're looking to make. Great invasion there with the smoke, straight off the back of dying. They're into the game, Boxy heads in, and couldn't have landed a better avalanche to start things off.
Yeah, I think that's like a great move there. Not just for the kills, but it's because like setting up for that tier 1 tower. You want to start getting better map control here, as we see it perfectly set up. They're making space. Anti-Mage farming on the left side there as the rest of them invade and secure that mid tower. All about map control when you're playing.
Bottom lane back in the action. They've found themselves a big one. Costabil, the man that's been getting away with a lot of space, finally taken out. Annihilate, though. He's on the high ground of Liquid in great position to find some kills in return. Does get Tiger. Burrow Strike setups there from Old White. They may have killed the out. They're going to lose a couple of heroes for it. As Demon Slayers now doing very well at matching the pace that Liquid are playing at. Not letting them getting away with free pickoffs. Obviously, whilst this all goes on, the anti-mage does continue to free farm.
Yeah, they just have so much damage when it comes out with the Nether Toxin, with the Veil. You mentioned it, all magic damage, and it's all amplified, so it does really start to tick out quite heavily versus those Liquid heroes. But yeah, Mike is not involved. This is Liquid fighting 4 heroes matching up versus like 4 or 5 for the most part of Demon Slayers. You know, the Alk did die in the beginning of it all. And he is going to be going for that BKB second item, as we saw popularized at TI on the Alk. Just Radiance BKB, close the map, get a huge net worth advantage, just close the game out by 30.
I see Insane have a bit of a poke at this. I don't know how much Liquid really want to try and commit to this hold. I think they've got to let this one go, yeah. Old White trying to see if he can get in range for the Burrow Strike. Annihilate. I don't quite find the vision for the rod. And they get the space for the tower. Tower is taken, and Demon Slayer's actually moving on for more, but Boxy's there with the jump in straight away. The silence is out, and Insane going for the ult on the high ground. And cooking up the concoction. It's a 2-man as well, with the Soulbind linking both Insania and Boxy together. They're going to both fall as Demon Slayers boldly moving on to Liquid's half of the map, fighting into that high ground. It worked out fine for them. They hit this combo perfectly. Costabil, he's able to get involved before he has a BKB. And also Quakefor's got to be a little careful. The slow was there on him. Will manage to get himself out of the range of the rest of the backup coming in from Demon Slayers.
They have great synergy with that Soulbind, as we saw coming into play there. The Viper Strike with Unstable Concoction too, even if it wasn't like fully charged up or anything, it does come into play. And I think they're Liquid identified. They're like, oh god, it's 5 heroes. Like, we just got to split up quickly, farm the map. Let your Razor go farm, let the AM go farm. Don't fight into the 5 of them there. So wait till they get these items. I think the BKB is the biggest one, of course, because then Quakefoot can actually show up, not have to be so worried about getting burst down. They can rally around him a little bit better there, but it's the BKB so they can rally around Quakefoot, and then, yeah, of course, the Manta for that AM. And
there really isn't a lot that they have, right, that goes through those BKBs. What Viper Strike is sort of it. So bottom lane, Tiger. Just land an arrow. He's just on his own, though, so won't go for anything more. And he knows it. Yeah, they're going to find him here. Rod's out. And Tiger, he may have thrown that arrow a chance to have a bit of a poke, but he gave away his position. Does look like with the Moonlight, he will manage to get himself out of the way. Will be able to sneak through the trees and get to safety, but a little risky there from Tiger.
I like that he went for the Spirit Vessel this game. I think it's like you go for Vessel, or you go your Urn or your mech builds, or you go your 4 staffs. This game is definitely a Vessel 4-staff game versus that Alchemist, and also just having an AM on your team. You want to have your saves. He might still switch to a mech, but...
We're seeing some good timings continue to roll in for Mickey. The Manta style pretty much complete, and at that point, that's where, you know, he becomes sort of a whole other issue in terms of Demon Slayers trying to catch him.
Yeah. I'm scared a little bit just for, you know, I see this Zeus, and it's a support Zeus, and he's got 1,000 mana in the back lines. If he's in a bad position, it's very free mana voids for that anti-mage for Mickey to set up on it. It's a lot of damage that actually does come out in a pretty big area. They definitely have to be very aware of when that AM does have the Manta online.
We'll see what they find here. They find a pretty juicy one, Quakefor out and alone. Trying to take a bit of the jungle away from Demon Slayers, but he was entirely remote and away from the rest of his teammates.
That was a very deep position for him to be.
I mean, he was deep, and that's always sort of the feels bad position, because you're deep, and what are you sort of gaining from it? You're farming the small pool camp.
Yeah.
You're not really getting a lot of value from there.
Gets his team some information, but yeah, now they are starting to lead into a tower here in mid for Demon Slayers, and Liquid, they don't want to take this one. So yeah, that kill, that death actually does turn it into a tier 1 tower as well, but now they are starting to make moves. Boxy is starting to rotate forward. They really want to try to stall the push as long as possible, even though it does look like Demon Slayers will inevitably take this one down.
Definitely. Tiger. That's on the arrow. He's leaping into 4 heroes, though. That's a bit of a recipe for disaster by the looks of it. Burrow Strike does come out, All White will fall. Soulbind, two-man Viper Strike comes into play. Annihilate stepping in. Insania's going to drop down the ult, but Annihilate is pretty tanky. They're not quite killing off the Viper yet. Boxy and Insania falling low. They get the one kill. Flea in the river is being focused, but Annihilate was able to get both Tiger and Insania. He's looking for Boxy. Boxy has the toss back. He's getting him away, and that will mean the Liquid come out on top with Quite for turning up in time to pick up the cleanup kills.
That was scary for a second there, though.
I mean, they weren't killing that Viper very quick. It looked like Annihilate was going to bring down at least 3 of them. Does bring down 2 of them with him. But obviously, Quakefer being able to turn up and just reap the benefits from that fight the most. It's going to set him back ahead.
I can't believe Boxy survived there, too. I believe the Hood actually ended up saving him, right?
It was incredibly close.
I think I saw the Hood save him, because he dropped so low. I thought he was going to tick out, but... Yeah, he gets soulbound, he gets struck up, he gets... Oh, the bolt didn't actually connect him there. But yeah, he still dropped super low. The Hood activatable.
I see 3 of them going away at Annihilate.
Yeah.
The CMO as well. Obviously, Viper being Viper, he just does not die that quickly at all with that magical damage. And even the anti-mage's life being threatened there. Mickey has to blink away at the last moment. And Boxy with this toss, a bit of a risky one, but one that does save his life. Getting Annihilate out of there and into the hands of Quakefer.
The whole time, Costabil is farming bottom. That's the one thing that was him. He farmed actually several thousand gold, maybe like 2,000 to 3,000 while that whole fight was going on.
He's still having a good game, indeed.
He's still having a great time.
He's having a very, very nice showing. So couldn't be said for the anti-maze too. Of course, Mickey's game, especially surviving there. If he fell there, that would have been a lot of golden XP being fed away to Annihilate, but wasn't the case. Able to make the correct call to blink out just in time before pushing his luck too far. But straight back onto the map, Demon Slayers will look for more action, making the move down towards Annihilate, maybe hoping that he would have baited something out. But as it were, Liquid have their focus around mid and top. This smoke, unless they go for the long wraparound, might be hard to catch them. They are going to start to indicate that they want to go back towards their jungle. They know sort of the whereabouts of Liquid. Tiger is the one here on the front lines, hiding in the trees. He's got a lot of backup behind him. They're going to try for the jump in, and they go straight away. Old White looks for the burst, but Boxy's in with the counterplay. Comes in with the combo, and that's Old White dead. The rest of Demon Slayers wanting to keep their distance now as they realize that Liquid's here in full force. TP out from Flea will be successful. They get everyone else out of that.
Old White has to be a little careful how he initiates inside of these fights. Nobody else was really close to him there. He jumped in very aggressively by himself. Probably didn't expect all the Liquid heroes there. But now, the Dream, a DD right outside of the Roche pit after they kill the Sankey.
How can they contest this? They don't have Chemical Rage for 25. They do have that BKB, of course, but
I think without the Sanking, I don't think you can without the Sanking.
They've got to let this one go by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Liquid, Mickey eyeing up that Aegis, level 20.
He's got a Basher already now, too. I mean, he's really hitting his critical mass point. It's already only 22 minutes, and he's got the 3 core items. This is like, you're ahead of the timing that you want to be a little bit here as an AM. Even though he did die that one time. He's doing very well for himself. As Demon Slayers, I mean, they're still not out of it, yeah.
No.
Annihilate has definitely picked up his farm. I mean, he's doing pretty decent, but...
You look at the network for me, there's 2K difference between him and Quakefer. That's not bad, continue the state of how that lane played out.
Yeah.
He got destroyed in that middle lane. I'm going to see him getting in a bit of trouble here. Does get tossed back, but now they are going to follow up on him. The arrow does connect over the back lines. They're focusing the anti-mage. Look how quickly he dies. Once he's in the poison, he gets shredded. That's the Aegis gone. They've already lost Insane. Costabil's trying to get him with a BKB, but he is having his damage stolen by Quakefer. Now Annihilate turns his attention back towards him. The double stun from Old White comes into play on the back lines. Insane is brought back, looking to get back over and help out his teammates. The BKB popped by Quakefer. He's on top of Annihilate. They take down the Viper. The rest of Demon Slayers get themselves back up to the high ground.
Ooh, good thing they got that Aegis right before all that. Mickey just gets erased super quickly inside that Nether Toxin. Quakefer, I believe, gets a full link during all of it, though, onto the Viper and just easily able to chase him down. And now that's a pretty big exchange there. They get 2,000 or 3,000 gold off of that push, and now they can look to secure the other lanes of the map. Maybe even go for pushing that bottom tower. Just get all these deep wards down, watch the movements of Demon Slayers, and set up for your next movement.
And I mean, the potency of that Nether Toxin against the anti-mage. So if he ever gets stunned or held down in a... Whoa, we're going to see him fire a couple more as Demon Slayers come outside of the base. Liquid are still in the neighborhood, waiting for them on the high ground as both Flea and Old White walk into their death. Maybe not quite expecting Liquid to still be in the area.
They're still just hanging around. Just camp the triangle, camp the high ground, while Mickey, I guess, is going to be the one that just pushes bottom by himself. I thought maybe more would rotate, but no, this is the smarter decision. Get those wards up, trap Demon Slayers inside their base now after you get that tier 2 mid and tier 2 top. And now, yeah, Mickey can look to finish up. He's got the Abyssal actually finished up already.
And this is what I was going to wonder about. You know, what stage does he say, well, I do need a BKB? And he's going to queue it up next. I think rightfully so. We've seen, you know, if he does get caught out in the Nether Toxin, it will destroy him. He needs that magic immunity. Having the pipe on his teammate is not enough, really. They kill him too fast without that extra spell resistance he relies on.
I love, I mean, this is the item build, right? Like your Manta, your Basher, having this Abyssal Blade. I like the Abyssal too quite a bit because it just gives him a little bit more raw HP. He's actually able to survive some of that burst before he stalls out for BKB. Because BKB is like the winner in this game. Like you said, all magic damage for Demon Slayers. So stall that one for as long as possible.
We'll see how sort of the pace Liquid play at now. It could very much be just waiting for Mickey to find that BKB before they really try and force the high ground. I think they're going to feel quite confident. They've got a back to quite a lead, 8K advantage, 28 to 15.
I feel like they should be playing around one of their wards right now. That one just got taken out, which is a bit unfortunate, but usually when you camp these, you know, when you set up these deep wards and you're having this advantage, you want to camp one of them when the team gets outside of the base. When they go for a D ward, you jump them. And that's what they're starting to do here now. They're starting to position themselves.
He's heading in. They'll get the insta start. Farah's going to fly in. It does catch onto Annihilate. He's caught in the midst of it all. Insane dropping down the ult from the high ground. Concoction will cancel the channeling, but Mickey's in. Malavoid's out as both Old White and Annihilate fall. Mickey's still hunting for more in the trees. Juan saying hit him. Flea's trying to run himself away from Mickey. BKB's popped by Costa Bill, but Boxy, Tiger, and Quaker are on top of him. They'll bring down the Alchemist. Old White comes back in with a Burrow Strike. He and Annihilate bought back for this. They've got to be careful. They still don't have the numbers advantage as Mickey. He just continues to clean them all up. It's an ultra kill for the anti-mage. Old White will be able to get back in and take down the Razor. Now I'm going to have that kill denied from them. Annihilate's back to the high ground.
Come on, Insania, give him the Rampage. How are you going to take it from? Was that an auto attack that got or did he nuke him? Oh.
I think it was an auto attack.
I think it was an auto attack even.
Insania managed to deny that Rampage from Mickey with.
Mickey that was cleanup crew, right? Yep. They wrapped around. I liked how they made the move. They let their ward get dewarded because they were checking the left side, but then they all came around, they wrapped behind him, and they got a perfect surround onto Demon Slayers there. And Mickey just was able to blink around and clean up whoever he wanted.
He's getting jumped underneath the tier 4s. Mickey straight in and on top of him. He did buy back, so that's him gone for 90 seconds.
Oof, back-to-back 5-second arrows. Ouch.
Yeah, Tiger's hitting some big ones.
They're going to show some respect, though. Even though the Viper's dead for 80 seconds, they're backing up his Alchemist is alive. Get the most out of the map as possible. They're in a very comfortable spot. They're probably just trying to play as crisp as possible to close it.
Costa Bill, pretty much got that AC done, which will help a little bit.
But it's
again,
just
sort of heroes being jumped on by the Tiny or the Anti-Mage, punching away.
But it's just him now, right? Like the
Sanking. Everyone else's gamers.
Yeah, they're all slowed down so much. Even though Annihilate, like we said, he started to recover and all that, but he is a Viper at the end of the day of it all.
Yeah, that one sort of fight around near the Roshan pit where we saw Annihilate be a pretty tough target to take down. The fact that he didn't get those big kills and Quaker was able to clean up, that sort of set this game back in motion in the way that it looked to go with how the lanes went.
Yeah.
Liquid just having this commanding lead.
Oh, Demon Slayers, I actually thought they didn't actually dip into the advantage ever in this game. I thought maybe for experience or something, maybe for like a slight moment. No, they still have not even for any
just
moment.
The fact that the Anti-Mage was constantly out on his own. I mean, I guess it's the same to be said for the Alchemist, but Nikkei just had that much better of a start, and he's able to do so much more, at least in the first 28 minutes of the game as an Anti-Mage. Toss back there.
I think he like tossed him, and the arrow clipped him as he was getting tossed as well. So
he was screwed. Whatever happened there, there was no hope for him.
Super dead.
As that will be their mid-bracks, very easily taken by Liquid. They walk up and claim them. Demon Slayers without the full 5-man don't want to try and risk a fight. If they do go for one sort of last hurrah, they want to do it with the full 5-man. That's going to mean waiting 25 seconds before Old White's back in the game.
Mick is at that invulnerable point, right? Unless he makes some like super dive into the tier 4s and gets chain stunned and can't get anything off. Yeah, he's pretty unkillable.
No excuse for dying with the BKB now on a level 24 anti-mage. He's not going to die.
Nope, doesn't seem like it.
This is a professional player. No.
He died once.
He did die once.
By a big play by Juan. But, yep, they actually saved a lot of their smokes here for this mid-game after they've got like map control. So now they can claim one side of the map, smoke to the other side, make sure that nobody's farming over there, keep Demon Slayers trapped inside their base. I like that. They're holding their Moonlight Shadow as well in case of any retreat or anything. This is just a smoke to control the map even more and get these wards.
I mean, is there any worries you feel for Liquid if they play it sort of too safe? You know, if you give Demon Slayers a bit more time to turtle up, farming the waves as they come into the base, is the difficulty going to rise? Or do you feel that with how Liquid are able to maintain their advantage, there's never any sort of huge worry for them?
I don't think there's a worry. I think they scale super well. And now, the triple stun.
I mean, they just walked down into a triple avalanche. They do get the BKBs out. Will turn towards Quaifa. Quaifa's got his own BKB out. He's stealing a lot, but the Soulbind double concoction will take down one. They'll turn towards Tiger. They'll clean up a second. Boxy's going to buy back. Mickey's coming into the fight. He has been silenced. BKB now popped as he looks to get himself on top of the Viper. Turns for the easier kill. He's going to look for the Grimstroke, focusing down Chuan. Chuan will fall. Double kill for Mickey. Moves over to Old Boy. Old Boy will be able to get away with the Burrow Strike and into the Sandstorm. They've killed off Insania. We'll see what more Liquid want to go for. Jump down and cancel the TP onto Costa Bill. He cannot escape. Okay, we'll be able to find him. There's a buyback coming out from both Fleet and Juan. No buyback available for Costa Bill. He's dead for 70. They are down CM for a full minute as well, though, Liquid, so may sort of take their foot off the pedal a little bit and get the chance for Costa Bill to get back in and offer one more defense. That was... I mean, I feel like that could have gone a lot worse. Obviously, it wasn't great for Demon Slayers, but it could have gone a lot worse considering that fight started with 3 of them walking up into high ground and into a 3-man avalanche.
Yeah, you see during all this, look at the mini-map. Mickey was actually chasing Flea up in the top right side, so he ends up killing the Zeus, and then he's able to start joining the fray. So it looked a little bit like, oh my god, they're just destroying them in the team fight, but their strongest hero wasn't there, right? The anti-mage was playing in a different side. And they got a great Soulbind. They got that like perfect situation there for themselves. But then once the AM shows up, once a couple buybacks, yeah, they have to immediately back away. And Costa Bill gets caught on the side there.
Yeah, didn't quite manage to play his way out of that one. And now, you know, it is at that sort of fun point. Now, Boxy and Tiger, they did buy back. You know, if there's now a window, an opportunity, if Demon Slayers are able to hold and Liquid start pushing before those buybacks are available again, you know, there's every chance they can sort of run down. If they don't really have the best tower push really on Demon Slayers. They have got an AC on the out, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
You know, there is that chance though. It's 31 minutes in. They are 19k down, but they're holding on Demon Slayers. I9 heads out of the base. Boxy's going to get the toss back. I9 he needs help. But the combo is set up perfectly. That arrow will take him out for 70 seconds. Mickey's going to jump in and look for more. They stepped out of the base looking for a fight. But it's going to hurt them badly here, Demon Slayers. Costa Bill trying his best to get away with the BKB, but it wears off. Avalanche is in place from Boxy as Costa Bill dead alongside Annihilate. Both cores down for a minute. And Liquid now knowing they safely have the time to move in and take more of the base away from Demon Slayers.
I really like the way Liquid moved around the map in this game. It was not like always like this 5-man unit or this 3-man unit. They were switching it up a lot. How they transitioned between lane to lane, the way they used smokes as well. It was really nice to see how they controlled the map. Demon Slayers, I'm pretty impressed with the way that they kind of came back in it, but this one, from those lanes, I feel like it was already so tough for them.
See how White is going to jump in and commit straight away. Does bring down quite for the half out, but already Mickey's on the back lines, jumps in on his Juan, turns back and cleans up the Sanging as well. GG is called, and Liquid will take game 1 against Demon Slayers.
Yeah, like I said, they had an okay recovery in the middle of it all, but their 3 lanes went pretty much as bad as they could. Bottom, I guess Old White started to get something out of it, but he dies right away at the start. Anti-Mage is getting no pressure on him whatsoever. And yeah, mid lane, Quaifa was able to do excellent. He shut down his, 23, 24, 25 last hits to the 3 or 4 of the Viper. Even though I9 was able to recover a bit there, they just had too much control of the game there at that point, in my opinion.
I mean, if you're going into the game 2 as Demon Slayers, what are you taking away from that the most and saying, we need to change this, we can change this? Is it as simple as trying to make sure you do have a better mid matchup in the 1v1? Are you looking to make sure that there's not going to be that free lane for Mickey to start lane as a carry as happy as be?
I think maybe just like scout lanes earlier, even though I feel like these lanes were kind of telltale, they just sent the Sand King down alone by himself to go check out that rune. They didn't like give him any type of information. Maybe just giving him like a ward early on just to see where these positioned heroes are in the safe lane. Like it's a small specific thing, but like those type of things can really help just to help Old White have a better game. Because even though he recovered a little bit, he struggled so much in that early laning phase, and you need your Sand King to have a good game there.
I did. Well, there was certainly a little bit of hope there for Demon Slayers, but overall Liquid able to stand strong and take the win with that anti-mage game. Great performance from Mickey and the boys all round. We'll see if they can keep it up in game 2, if Demon Slayers can switch it around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly for game 2. As it stands, Liquid take the lead 1-0 against Demon Slayers in this best of 3.